we're rolling. Welcome to episode 62 of Rebels Without a Pod, the show that dares ask the question, you're just now remembering that tiger that escaped from the circus. That's so many dumb fuck things for Where I Cry Wilderness, right? But it's just like just the last time I watched it, the moment I had of, oh, there's a crazy animal and it's running around the forest of the Pacific Northwest and it's slaughtering animals and it's killing people and it doesn't seem to be native to anything in this region that we actually recognize. You know, the circus was just in town the other day. Just.
You know how James Gunn mentioned he doesn't start the movie till he has a completed script?
Right.
Yeah. Cry Wilderness was definitely not a completed script.
Right.
No.
They didn't have any. If you told me like they had no script and they just kind of pointed at like those guys and like, okay, start strangling the raccoon and then from there just riff.
Yeah, and don't forget about our Coca-Cola product placement.
Right. That's how we afforded the tiger for a whole day and a half.
Yeah, that was a particularly bad movie.
Joining me tonight, Andy, who does our artwork and graphic design, including for that particularly bad movie, a very stirring depiction of knockoff Sylvester Stallone actually strangling said baby raccoon in front of just a giant bottle of ketchup.
A distressingly large bottle of ketchup.
They like their ketchup.
Who needs that much ketchup, dude?
Well, if you think about it, they're pretty far in the woods. How often do you go grocery shopping?
Yeah, but they still that means they had to carry like
that long winters out there. Long winters.
Yeah, long winters.
Yeah.
They had to hike in with that bottle.
Yeah. Back in, back out. Naveen, who does music and audio production.
Hello.
Pod Daddy Eric will not be joining tonight as he's currently outside enjoying a hearty laugh with Jim and Big Mike.
What about the bear?
Big pardon?
What about the bear?
The bear was Big Mike.
Oh, bear. I forgot.
Yeah.
Couldn't keep track of all the names. All right.
This is what I really this is just one of the things I despise about like our itinerant co-host. I did not send him this episode introduction last night. We were kind of chatting a bit on Google. He out of nowhere sent me a gif of Jim laughing from Cry Wilderness. Completely off the dome.
Nice. Had he seen it
say again?
Had he seen it before? Eric?
Several times. It's one of his. It's when like the new season came out. It's the first one we actually watched together, and I think he's seen it like a couple times. Like Eric was bummed out missing that one. There are so many scenes in that film that are just kind of out of his subconscious. All of our content currently up on the Rebels Without a Pod YouTube channel. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. We're saying this every week, but we are just crossing a new milestone in the last 5-6 days, maybe, since we released our old episode of Kung Fu Hustle. I think this may have had something to do with like the set of kind of YouTube shorts that we put out at the same time. But in the last 5 days, Kung Fu Hustle has actually climbed the charts. It is the most watched long form video that we've ever done on the channel. It started out strong, and just in the last day or two, just even kind of blew past Handmaid, which is the previous sort of standard bearer for us.
What's the number now? The watch count number?
140.
I mean, wow. For us, that's like practically viral.
Yeah. 140, but again, in 5 days, it took the Handmaid in months to just get.
I was going to say, wasn't it shorter? Kung Fu Hustle did it faster than the Handmaiden.
One more time.
All right. I was just about to ask. Didn't Kung Fu Hustle did it faster than the Handmaiden? Like
5 days as opposed to like 2 months.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Although I suppose that's back when we were age gating everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but we we appreciate like the views, we appreciate the time and attention. The next milestone I think we got coming up, and this is easily the fastest we've ever kind of like accumulated a grand. But I think the next time we talk, the channel will probably be over 6,000 views. I mean, the work that Naveen has been kind of doing for like the shorts that we like put out on the weekend has kind of contributed to that a lot. So you just appreciate the ears and attention for anybody that's out there.
Yeah. And I'm curious for any of our listeners, I mean, that are out there, what's the draw here between The Handmaid and Kung Fu Hustle? Curious of our demographics.
Is it Asia?
Yeah. Well,
do we pivot?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we make a very quasi-racist and ill-informed pivot?
Wait, Asia the band or Asia the
continent?
The film producing continent that has spawned like our two most popular films on the show.
So not Heat of the Moment. Okay, got it.
I know with Naveen on the panel, we got like a little bit more latitude at least, so maybe that's something.
That's why he said quasi.
Quasi, yeah.
But yeah, it's just pretty interesting.
Actually, to prove this, let me float. We got to put out Cholet and see what kind of number Cholet does.
Yep.
I think all of them, the last two from our section there, the Raid and Cholet, and see what happens.
All right. And then phase 3 is Profit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tonight we're pausing our B-movie cycle for something a little bit different. A live watch and review of Buster Keaton's classic 1924 silent comedy Sherlock Jr. Now this is really a break from the the movies we've been doing before. I think previously the oldest thing that we had the oldest film that we actually had covered was Cholet from like 1975.
Yeah.
Andy, Naveen, and I were talking like a little bit off mic the other night. Because we had been kind of conversing about Kung Fu Hustle. Because we had been talking also Buster Keaton being a influence on Stephen Chow's direction of that movie, but also a month or two back we did Hundreds of Beavers, which is there's a way to look at as almost sort of like it kind of a quasi remake of like a very famous Buster Keaton film that they made that was set in like the Yukon wilderness. Naveen kind of randomly said to me, "Hey, you're always invoking this director and his movies. Is any of his stuff kind of worth watching?" We talked for like a little bit. I proposed the idea of maybe us, because particularly since we have a midweek record, and Sherlock Jr. is a nice, merciful 45 minutes long. Thought it might be like sort of the same thing to pivot to. But let me kind of put it to like the two of you. Why, two questions. Why was this interesting? And do you know anything either about kind of Keaton specifically or just any of like the silent films from like this era?
Go for it.
From my perspective, I have not ever watched any of his movies. I have seen clips, here and there. Not super familiar with any of them, but so if we rewind a little bit to the algorithm show that we did, where I talked about the channel Corridor Crew.
These are the sets of friends that sit around. They watch. They watch and evaluate kind of stunt work, special effect work from like a wide range of films.
That's right. Yeah. So the Buster Keaton stuff has come up at least a couple of times on some of those episodes, and it's like they basically it's like they're going, you think modern day CGI and stunt work and everything is amazing. Check this out. This was done, 75 years ago, or when whatever the release date was.
101 years ago for this particular film.
Exactly. These were done years and years and years ago, and they're doing these seamless, in camera, sleight of hand, if you will, sleight of the eye, to make these things look as real as they do. Not to mention the fact that he almost gets killed in every movie he makes doing a stunt or something like that. And just talking about how amazing it is that they were able to pull off what they pulled off all those years ago. And it looks fascinating, and I'm interested.
Right. Davine, how about yourself?
Yeah. I don't have any familiarity with it. Buster Keaton things. Maybe saw clips of it, but didn't know it was Buster Keaton. I knew more of Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin, but
just the image of him with a bowler hat, like like what was not a Hitler mustache at the time, but sort of fell out of vogue years later.
Right, exactly. But again, didn't know or see any of Chaplin's stuff either. Although I did enjoy Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of him in that movie, which was pretty good. So I don't know too much about it, but it is fascinating to see. Well, I think got more interested with you bringing it up constantly and recommending
over and over.
Yeah, and recommending two movies, probably not knowingly at the time when you recommend those two movies, like, oh, I'm going to connect it to Buster Keaton. It just happened to be some connection to that. So it'd be kind of neat to watch it.
Right. My kind of sort of recent awareness and appreciation of his films comes from an excellent miniseries, the Blank Check podcast. Did on kind of Keaton's best movies a couple years back. Another a Blank Check, like another thing sort of constantly invoked on this podcast, which is a lot more engaging and intelligent and interesting than any of the shit like us dummies sort of talk about. But highly recommended sort of little miniseries that he did. And Sherlock Jr. was kind of cited by them as like, this is for if people are kind of curious about this for the first time, this is the one that you start on, because it has kind of a creative aspect, a surrealist aspect, and on top of that, just its tone and its sense of humor makes it probably maybe a bit more accessible to modern audiences even than they might actually think. But to kind of set the stage like a little bit, this is a 1924 movie. I did a little research. This is what else actually came out in 1924. The first electroencephalograph, the first tetanus vaccine, the discovery of the Andromeda Galaxy, the first year that Johnson & Johnson began mass-producing Band-Aids, the first year that they started mass-producing Dum-Dum lollipops. We got like a huge kind of box of them at the front of at the front of my office. I'm having at least kind of one of those still to this day. The year that Kleenex was introduced actually by a company that used the technology, the sterile gauze technology they had that was previously going into the development of Kotex menstrual pads to actually create like the first sort of commercial sort of Kleenex. And those menstrual pads were actually derived from like the original manufacturing work that they did which was for kind of gas masks during World War I. Also, 1924, born this year, Jimmy Carter, Marlon Brando, Lauren Bacall, and Don Knotts. So just kind of set up
time ago, guys.
Long ass time ago.
Yeah, and interesting. All these great things happened, and we're about to watch a movie where a guy was like, "I'm going to hurt myself a lot to get this movie out."
Right.
It's a near-death experience.
So let me list like we'll kind of get like a bit more into like the background of like what this how this movie was kind of received at the time, some like the things they did, but like a quick sort of preview things you'll see in this film. A legitimately funny lost dollar bill joke, a bunch of really sweet billiard trick shots, Buster Keaton breaking and almost fracturing his neck in a water cooler stunt, a magic trick I have seen an animated GIF of with the scene from the movie imposed on it kind of side by side, and I still don't understand like how the trick was actually done. A baby presented in a extremely confusing context, at least for the like the lead character on the movie, and many people almost dying in car and motorcycle crashes. We'll leave it at that.
I mean, you had me at weird baby.
I don't think I want to dig deeper
I
into that.
really wish I felt that way about the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Should we make the decision on Mike as to whether or not we actually want to cover Fantastic Four? I think the feeling was kind of yes. I went to see it a second time yesterday.
Nice. I think we should. Did Eric see it yet? Was he
No,
Yeah.
things don't get to Japan until about 9 months later, and he started his vacation before the movie came out. It'll be like his first day back to catch it.
Yeah.
Andy, how do you feel?
I enjoyed it. I didn't. Well, no spoilers. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And I would certainly be happy to talk about it.
We should, as part of that episode, figure out who the four of who all of us are within the Fantastic Four. The only real conviction I have about that is Eric is the weird god baby. I think everything else is gone up for grabs. Anyway,
Okay. All right.
let's pause the recording, and we'll be back in about 45 minutes with our thoughts and review on Sherlock Jr.
All right. See you in a bit.
See you in the future.
And we're back, folks. Sherlock Jr. is a 1924 American silent comedy starring and directed by Buster Keaton, featuring Catherine McGuire, Joe Keaton, and Ward Crane. Synopsis in brief. Sometimes all it takes is a little nap. And some just work themselves up. What else do we have? Synopsis in brief. People used to buy chocolate for each other. That's what dating was. We've kind of fallen as a culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not so much. I mean, she was checking out the rock on that ring.
Right.
Wasn't big enough still.
Even with the magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Something will change.
Synopsis in brief. Thomas Murphy's stag party. They got picnic. They got tug-of-war. We technically never had like a bachelor party for Naveen, so just kind of thinking a little bit.
All right.
Tug-of-war at the housewarming party.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
See if a very pale, slight man drives through on a motorcycle just sitting on the handlebars.
Yeah,
That's how you tell the union is blessed.
it could happen.
So before we kind of get to like general impressions, historical significant aside for like this movie, which obviously has quite a bit, but did you guys find it entertaining?
Wouldn't that go into the general impressions category?
Top level before we get into specific.
Okay.
I've had Sherlock Jr. Have fun watching this one?
I enjoyed it. It was definitely interesting to see. Again, not used to it. I think Hundreds of Beavers was probably the first really silent movie got into, but I would say that wasn't too silent because they did have a lot of sound effects and grunting and things of that sort. Whereas
it also was considerably inspired by Metal Gear Solid, which this movie wasn't.
But this was probably a true silent movie, considering it's just all music and nothing else to steer it along. And
occasional interstitial sort of dialogue placards, but that was really about it.
Right. I mean, no actual audio or anything of that. It's just the music to push it along.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting and neat. Definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. It was charming, and there were definitely moments throughout that I'm sure we'll talk about shortly that left me sort of racking my brain going, how did they do that?
Right.
Which is cool. That's just cool.
Yeah.
The thing from our off-mic conversation the other week that inspired me to kind of share this with you guys is we're talking a bit. I brought up this movie specifically. Andy had a point about man, they must have done some really interesting stuff with trick photography back in the day. And I told him that's true, but there was just an awful lot of people putting their lives in mortal danger, like at the same time.
Yeah.
So just like a little bit of kind of background about this movie. This was not a hit for him. He was a pretty well-established sort of a persona, as well-established movie star. Kind of at this point, people would kind of show up in like droves to his stuff. He was really well known. This one wasn't quite a flop, but it didn't do nearly as well as his previous films. Critical reception was kind of mixed. Like some critics, the New York Times has cited, were kind of very positive on this movie, calling it very surprising, imaginative, creative. Other critics thought this was just kind of way too much. There's just a lot of craziness, too many special effects. People were saying that even like 100 years ago, too many special effects for this movie. And it kind of, it did sort of fine. It didn't do as well as his previous film, which had been, which at this point is more or less sort of previously forgotten. I think the domestic gross when this movie was released was about $450,000, which who the fuck knows, like in today's in today's cash. But
yeah.
Let's kind of just get into the just like a bit more detail. What was interesting to you? What was surprising to you? What was entertaining about this movie? What didn't work? We can kind of go that angle as well if you want.
I was completely entertained by the scene where he goes into the movie screen and all the backgrounds change and all the set changes and everything. That was incredible.
That had never been done. They think, going back historically, that's the first time maybe a feature-length film had used the concept of a movie within a movie.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that as well. Kind of interesting, though, that what you had mentioned about being too many effects put into the movie. It's actually one of the impressions I was thinking as I was going through. I'm like, there was a lot of cool things in it, like that scene Andy just brought up, movie within a movie, but then the scenes just changed, but he was still kind of in it, interacting with it.
right.
And then the foreground, it was still the regular movie theater and
static the entire time.
Yeah, which was really impressive to do. But that whole scene, what did it do for the whole movie? You know, it didn't move the plot along any. It just was, you know, wasn't really part of it. So I had that same kind of notion of whether it was just too many effects just for the sake of doing the effects because he wanted to do them. One of the surprising things I didn't know about, and maybe you can answer it, Johnny, as well. Buster Keaton starred and directed. Did he direct all his movies? There's kind of a core set of films that are still kind of considered his classics to his day. He directed some, but not all. I don't know off the top of my head what the exact percentage. The ones he didn't direct, I think he generally had one or two other guys that he liked working with. Yeah. What's interesting, you say that thing about, you know, one of the sort of kind of signature set pieces of the film is when you kind of get into the dream sequence, the movie within the movie, and it starts with him sitting in a theater audience, standing up, getting on stage, stepping into the film itself, and then the film would just maybe cut to about half a dozen or so other scenes. And what's kind of remarkable like about the way that they made this film is that when these scenes, sort of scenes actually shift, Keaton is still in the exact same place relative kind of where he is on the stage. I mean, they literally, back in the day, it's something called match cut editing, but they literally had to use, I think, surveying tools to kind of get him whatever position, whatever angle he was at, whatever distance he was from like the camera. They really had to kind of do a lot of work to kind of film him in one of those scenes where he's standing like on a cliffside, or he's in a pit with like a bunch of lions, or he's in the middle of a garden. They had to do a lot of work to kind of like put him in one of those scenes, film it, and then build another set and put him at the exact same part
in that set, so that when they actually kind of cut them together, it looks like he's just kind of this floating spirit, kind of going scene to scene to scene within the editing of the movie.
That's
Even
pretty
the
amazing.
It is pretty amazing. Even just the intro to his dream, where he had that basically out of body experience, that was really neat, and he became that ghost or whatever in that dreamscape. That was, and then even taking off the hat to add to it. So
yeah, that's called double exposure there, and again, I think it's not really the first time that had been used in a movie, but I think that's one of the first sort of really kind of famous examples of like that actual effect.
You think about like the troubleshooting and problem solving they had to do back then in order to make these. I mean, not that they're not doing troubleshooting and problem solving now, but I mean, you're talking about guys who are, you know, they've got this great idea. We want Buster Keaton to, you know, have a dream sequence. And yeah, I mean, maybe at that point double exposure had been used, but at the same time they have to like figure out a way to do it so that it's convincing.
How do we represent this within the language of cinema, within like that, like the very limited sort of set of technical things we could.
Yeah, the fact that they had to actually like kind of rack their brains and figure out how to make that work, and that they pulled it off so well on top of it is pretty remarkable. I mean, the scene where he is running away from the bad guys and he jumps through the woman, is, I mean, by any definition, even today's definition, that was an unbelievable thing to capture on screen. Obviously, they had used some, you know, practical sleight of hand to make it work.
Right.
But yeah, I can only imagine
it's still a mind bending. It was actually, and this may be a bit apocryphal, but Buster Keaton said that was a magic trick his father came up with during the family's time in vaudeville when he was young. And people just for a long time didn't know how they did it. Basically, there's a woman standing there holding like an open box of scarves. Keaton jumps into the box of scarves, seems to pass through the scarves, through the body of the woman, through the wall that she's kind of standing in front of. He disappears through the box. The woman immediately just kind of turns and kind of starts walking off. There's no hole through her. There's no hole in in the wall itself. He's just completely nowhere to be seen.
And I mean, imagine how many minds were absolutely just blown by that, sitting there watching that happen back in 1924. I mean, they must have just been like, holy shit, that's witchcraft. That's the only explanation.
That's honestly kind of like, you know, the little bit I've kind of read about the impressions of like this movie is that this was such a surreal experience. This was such a surprising experience to so many people. 1924 America, they just kind of didn't know what to do with this thing. Supposedly, like Keaton set out just wanting to make a comedy, and he kept cutting the film down and down because every version of it they showed to people, they really weren't laughing at it. They were just kind of in shock with like all like the different kind of crazy stuff they were doing.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Definitely, yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, just kind of like that with me. It wasn't. There were parts I was laughing at which were funny and things, but for the most part, it was just like, wow, how did they do that? How, I mean, just for the times without CGI that we've grown accustomed to and all these other things, it's just wow.
But one thing I will say though is, you know, yes, I think that the biggest takeaway from this movie, and I would imagine other Buster Keaton movies and movies of the like, are, you know, the effects part of it is mind blowing and it's really amazing and it's great for the time. But I think some of my favorite parts of the movie were sort of like the in-between scenes that were just, you know, two people acting out something, or, you know, or it's the love affair, or it's the, you know, it's whatever it is.
Do you guys want to talk about like the billiard scene like a little bit? I think like I've seen this movie 3 or 4 times at this point. That I kind of keep coming back to that as one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, it has to be multiple takes, right? I mean, there's no way that's obviously that's all happening, you know, with him sitting there at the table. but like he did.
But it's still him making all these crazy shots.
He is making those shots. He is taking and making those shots. I don't know his history. I don't know. I mean, maybe he was a pool shark or something like that. But
this is what people had time for without video games.
Yeah, I mean, really, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, just constantly dancing around that ball, with all the shots. It was awesome.
Every possible way he could not hit the 13 ball filled with nitroglycerin, like the creativity of that. And then the two criminal guys kind of watching from the other from like the doorway, and then miming out every single crazy thing that he was pulling off while he was playing the game.
Yeah, you could say that as well about the whole motorcycle scene, just the timing of everything, the trucks getting there,
right?
The him.
Let's talk a little bit about that motorcycle scene, because I've like I said, I've kind of watched this a few times, and you're watching it. Every single thing, it's an escalation of how did nobody die making this movie.
The train part of that scene is wild, dude. Like, I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe it was a screen behind him or something like that. But I'll tell you what, it sure as hell looked just as convincing as
real. And if that wasn't him, that was some other guy driving in front of a train that fast.
Yeah, like that was crazy. That was crazy.
Right. Or even swerving in and out of the cars.
Right.
That car that was on stilts, he had to make sure he drove right through it.
Right. And again, that's him in just about all those scenes. It's not a stuntman filling in, and that's him literally driving a motorcycle while sitting on the handlebars going like 30-40 miles an hour.
Yeah. That's insane.
No,
that's insane. And like I imagine back then zero safety precautions. I mean, just
which is how they were able to kind of get these things that haven't been replicated since then, because a lot of what they're doing now would send so many people to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing for me, like out of like all the stunt stuff, like two kind of come in for me, like just Keaton kind of stuck on the top, like the 2-story building, him grabbing the railroad crossing guard and just kind of riding it down right into like the open seat of like the Model T that's kind of driving like in front of the building. That just breaks my brain, because it's all one fluid shot. It's all one single take.
And you can see the point of like where the arm starts to speed up too, like and to the point where when he gets to the car, he's at like terminal velocity at that point. Like he's moving.
And all of it though, that scene, the motorcycle scene, just the timing of it. I'm curious how many takes it actually took to get some of these correct.
Sure, because like a lot of those had to be very, very expensive, or like a lot of those had to be like, yeah, if we can't get this in 1 or 2 takes, this can't even be in the movie necessarily.
Right.
Yeah. I can't imagine how much that car was after it got drowned and sunk in the water there.
Sure. What you guys think about like the comedic aspect of this, where we talked a little bit, but was there stuff that was just really just intrinsically funny to you watching this?
That's a good
I
one.
would say by today's standards, I don't think the humor necessarily held up all that much. There were chuckle moments for me.
Everything, certainly.
Yeah, there were definitely chuckle moments for me, but I can't say that I found it to be a particularly comedic movie, I guess by definition, but it was cute and fun, and I mean it definitely still had that lighthearted feel to it that a comedy would have. I think it's just because of the fact that we're now 100 years in the future and our comedic sensibilities have changed so much. It probably doesn't hit us the way that maybe it did back then.
Sure.
Although to what you said, Johnny, it wasn't a particularly well received movie, and he had to keep cutting it down because the humor wasn't hitting.
It was a very strange thing and kind of like ahead of its time. I think also like maybe like a bit of the charm for this is stuff that we grew up on, especially something like The Simpsons, uses the motif of silent movies quite like a lot of the time to sort of make jokes or to just kind of to do like a little kind of throwback, absurdist, whatever kind of beat.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Could be.
My thought was, yeah, it did not hit me as very comedic. There were comedic points, but I think the idea is, Andy, kind of putting what both you guys said together, but also kind of my own. We're 100 years in the future, but so much, obviously, being a 100-year-old movie, so much stuff that we've seen now kind of borrowed from this. That whole scene where he had that paper stuck to him. There's been so many movies where we had seen that, where one they get something stuck on their hand and it goes to the other hand. It goes to
hand, one foot, other foot. He finally just tosses
Right.
it underneath the feet of somebody else coming out of the theater.
So we've kind of seen some of that. The whole banana peel thing. O'Doyle rules.
Right.
The car goes off the cliff because of a banana peel. So that could also be another reason why it did not hit so comedically, just because so many movies and cartoons and shows have used those comedic.
We've seen so many iterations on this kind of thing since then.
Right.
So last question for you guys. So we kind of came to this originally because we were talking movies like Hundreds of Beavers, movies like Kung Fu Hustle, a lot of different things. I mean, like the just film as it has existed as a medium has only been around just a little bit longer than like this movie itself. So while you were watching this, do you feel you could see the influences of things that came later on down the line, whether it was comedy, whether it was action, whether it was kind of stunt-driven stuff or cartoons or cartoon-style things?
Yeah, definitely for cartoons. I think from a cinematic perspective, to me anyway, I think it looks like it would be the kind of thing that aspiring filmmakers or stunt people or effects people or whatever would watch that and be inspired to do their own thing and come up with a new, totally wacky, out there idea that they can try to make happen on screen.
How can we do this legally in 2025?
Right. Yeah, but I don't know that they're necessarily directly inspired to try to do the same thing. More to go out there and invent their own stamp on practical effects or stunt work or whatever.
Right. There's a very famous Buster Keaton stunt from a different movie he has called Steamboat Jr. It's very, very famous. You've probably kind of seen it in one form or another, but he's standing in front of a giant building, and like the face of the building detaches, and it looks like the thing weighs about 1,000 pounds. Just falls directly on the ground, and Keaton is standing there in the middle, basically where an open window is, and he survives, like, just miraculously by being in that exact spot. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Jackass 2, I think, actually ended the movie that way, with like them randomly kind of knocking off like a bunch of kind of stunt work at the same time, and I think it actually climaxed with Johnny Knoxville replicating that Buster Keaton stunt.
I could see somebody like Johnny Knoxville thinking that Buster Keaton is just the greatest thing ever.
His Elvis, his Ozzy Osbourne, like whatever, like figure.
Absolutely, yeah. Like he would definitely be the type of guy that Knoxville would get into.
Makes me wonder if inspiration was taken for Jackie Chan, because he loves
absolutely
doing all his stunts. Even, I mean, Tom Cruise is pretty big on it, especially with the Mission Impossible movies. He does, wants to make sure it's him doing the stunts because it looks more.
Those movies have been increasingly like, let's see how this 60-year-old man almost dies, like this one.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, but the difference there is that I guess the one counterpoint is Tom Cruise has all of the safety precautions in the world set up to make sure that he doesn't die. Whereas Buster Keaton was just going like, fuck it, I'm gonna hold this railway crossing thing, and I'm gonna throw myself off a 2-story building and hope that I land in the car. Like, that's insanity. That's absolutely insanity.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a reason that men at that point were only kind of living until like their mid-50s. It was just different.
Yeah, absolutely. I would also like to make a note. Sorry, one other thing too. Maybe we talk about this again later. I don't know, but were either of you mildly unsettled by Buster Keaton's kind of like when he was at the very end when he was re-proposing to his girlfriend or whatever, where he kept on looking out at the screen and you got like this face on with his eyes and just looking kind of at the screen. There was something very unsettling about him to me. I don't know what it was.
Naveen, you want to go first on that?
Yeah, I mean, I did not find it unsettling, but I just took it as a joke because he was like, "What is he doing in the movie? Let me copy that. What's going on
I
there?"
just meant sort of like his
Right.
I don't know, like his being, his aura.
That very kind of neutral face was like a very well-known affect to his that he kind of kept on for almost every one of his feature films was just him doing all this crazy stuff, but just kind of keeping like this very kind of blank expression on the entire time. The only time you really, in his famous movies, you see him break from that and actually get like a little worked up, like a little emotional, is this big very kind of climactic boxing match that he has at the end of this film of his called The Battling Butler, which is kind of like an interesting one and maybe kind of worth talking about like at some point. But that was just an affect that he sort of picked, you know, same way with kind of Chaplin and the bowler and mustache. I did think it's very, very interesting, the character that he's kind of playing in this movie, because if you look at the entire plot, he's sort of set up to make it look like that he had stolen his girlfriend's father's watch to buy her like an expensive, like a sort of box of chocolates. It's the girlfriend who actually resolves the core conflict of the movie herself. She sort of goes out while he's literally napping and sort of dreaming about being in a movie. She's the one who just kind of goes and fixes everything. It's very interesting to me that like film going existed 10, maybe kind of 20 years like so at this point, but there was already an understanding of this character, to what Andy's talking about the last part of the movie, where some people were already becoming so obsessed with movies that it was kind of supplanting their understanding of what the real world is. I mean, you know, he's got the girls in the projection booth at the end of the film. He has to look at the movie to kind of get the idea. Oh, I should take her hand. Oh, I should give her a kiss. Oh, I should propose to her. And then he looks at the movie, and the guy sitting there with the two babies is like, don't quite know how to kind of connect those dots yet. But that kind of film otaku or film bro, or just like people. It's interesting to kind of see how humanity can follow new technology. Sometimes here's 1924, and the idea of there are people already who love movies so much that it's kind of the only thing that they understand. Like the fact that you just have such a nascent art form and you're already seeing that kind of thing. I just think is very, very interesting.
Yeah. Were Keaton and Chaplin contemporaries? Pardon my ignorance.
Yeah, they were. It was like the three big kind of sort of stunt comedians at the time were Chaplin, Fatty Arbuckle, and Keaton. The Chaplin stuff, to my understanding, isn't quite as fun and modern. It's a little more kind of maudlin. It's a little more sentimental than maybe like kind of interesting to people. I've watched about like half a dozen different Buster Keaton movies at this point, and I found all of them like pretty entertaining to like one degree or another.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely, I don't know that I would necessarily sit through that many of his actual entire films, but I would love to kind of maybe find a compendium or, you know,
see what the top 2 or 3 are.
Yeah, or just to see like, here's, you know, his top 10 greatest, you know, stunts, you know, on-screen stunts, or here's, you know, figure these things out. Like I would love to see that sort of compilation is the word I'm looking for, of, you know, some of the stuff that is considered to be his best.
Right. I mean, I watched a bunch of his stuff, but I was also unemployed for like a pretty long time. So you know,
yeah, right. I only have so much time in my life.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts before we wind down?
Yeah, nothing that I can think of. It's definitely an interesting watch. So, I mean, but not, I would say, not something that you need to go run out and watch. But if you're bored and want to get something, you said it's free on YouTube. So
yeah. I'll just all of his films are in the public domain at this point. And if you're kind of curious about film history in a way that's pretty traceable and pretty relevant, I think, to kind of what's done now, I think it's a good version of that.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me. Sorry, Andy, go ahead.
No, I think it is worth the watch for anybody that loves movies.
Yeah. Kind of break it up. So you were choppy when you were speaking, so you might want to start that over again. Keeping all this in there.
So I'll turn off my video there. So I guess what I'm saying is that for anybody that is
Go ahead, bud.
Oh, you there?
Uh-oh.
I'm here, but I know you guys are not hearing me.
We're hearing you now.
Okay, I'll try again. If you like movies, give it a try.
Oh, we lost you.
Andy fell asleep in front of the projection again.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me give my spiel kind of real quick. Then we'll circle back to Andrew. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we watched a film about exploding hooker mannequins and a guinea pig that was drawn and quartered by something called super crack.
All right.
Yeah. Cinema is amazing. Movies are great. Podcasting about them, even better.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Andy, bud, you still there? He's become our full-out silent movie of co-hosts at this point.
Goddamn Wi-Fi!
There it is.
There he is.
Fucking internet! Jesus Christ! Don't they know I'm trying to podcast here?
Naveen, all this stays in the episode.
Will do.
Will do.
Jesus. What the hell?
All right, you seem to be coming in pretty clear at this point, but I don't want to jinx it.
And now I'm just angry.
Yeah. Can we get a sound check? Can we hear you just go fucka, fucka, fucka?
Fucka, fucka, fucka.
All right.
Is that Pac-Man?
It's his cousin who
From the Bronx?
is his cousin from He was from the Bronx, but it took us a long time to figure that out.
Nice.
We'll call back there. Only Eric will understand that, assuming he listens to this long. So, episode 62, Rebels Without a Pod. Kind of winding it down. We are hoping our long itinerant co-host is supposedly getting back to the States in a couple days. Hopefully, he's not held up by ICE. Assuming everybody is kind of safe and home available, next week we will finally be circling back to our like kind of full cohort coverage of our B movie cycle with Andy's pick, BMX racing movie Rad. You want to say a couple words about that before we go?
Assuming that you guys can actually hear me, I'll give it a try.
You're doing good. Fucker,
good.
You're still on.
There's only one word that you need, and it's right there in the title.
Nice.
Not the long form?
No, not radical.
Right.
All right.
Let's
check.
We already covered that on Ninja Turtles, dude.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man, I just crossed the line. I'm sorry.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. Actually, I'll be honest with you. There is a big part of me that feels like the movie is going to be a gigantic disappointment.
Been there.
And I'm okay with that. But I will say it will hurt my heart a little bit because of how much I loved this movie back in the day.
What is the over under of this becoming the opportunity knocks of 2025?
I think it's in contention with Cry Wilderness, isn't it?
Mm. That one had sort of like the comedy, like the commentary track though.
True.
Yeah. That we went in knowing it was going to be terrible.
I think the nostalgic 80s kids in us will find something in Rad to latch onto. It's not going to be the acting. It's most definitely not going to be the plot. I think it's going to be the vibe.
Vibes.
The cool jumps on their bikes, on their BMX bikes.
I think the vibe is gonna do it for us.
All right. And assuming we're actually going to be able to sort of get together and record that, we will be winding down our B movie cycle the following week with my pick, nasty little kind of Lovecraftian horror movie called Reanimator. At some point, also, we're going to be covering. We decided we're going to wait like a bit further on down the line for us to figure out what the best time, what the best setting is for us to kind of collectively watch The Room. In initially kind of a discussion, we thought we kind of cap off like the B movie cycle with that, but The Room is something so special that the possibility was floated earlier. Maybe try to figure out like a time when all four of us going to be like in like the same, like in the same location to share what I've said before, the film that will probably destroy us as a podcast. Just with like the obnoxious shit we're going to be like yelling at each other for the next 6 months or so afterwards, once we all have that movie like inside of our heads. Rebels Without a Pod, episode 62. Gentlemen, pleasure as always. And I'll talk to everybody in a little bit.
Yeah. Happy non-birthday, Eric.
Right. A month early. Fucking
Right.
Facebook.
Fucking Facebook. That's the absolute worst thing Facebook has ever done.
Yeah.
Other than facilitate at
Take
the
that,
curtain in
Zuckerberg.
Myanmar. Yeah. It's Myanmar first, and then just how dare they get us excited about Eric being the same age as the rest of us. Talk to you guys in a bit. Take care.
Yeah, take it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Stop recording and
Goddamn Wi-Fi.